We're recording. Perfect.
All right, well, welcome. My name is Jessie Barclay, and I am a career development specialist at the WVU Career Services Center. And we're here today to talk to you about the upcoming virtual career fairs and some of the differences between the normal career fairs where you go in and you meet with recruiters, and also what's the difference with and the opportunities with a virtual career fair. And I am so excited that we have Megan Milbrand with us from BrightView. So I will let her introduce herself and talk a little bit about BrightView here at the beginning.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jessie. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm so excited to be here. As Jessie mentioned, my name is Megan. I work with BrightView Landscape Services. We are the largest commercial landscaping company in the nation. We have a little over 22,000 employees and over 300 branch locations. And then just in the Mid-Atlantic area here, we have 25 different locations in our Virginia and Maryland area. So a lot of great career opportunities everywhere from our crew members to production managers, account managers, all the way up to business operations. So excited to be here and help answer any questions that you guys might have.
Awesome. And BrightView has been a partner with WVU for a really long time, so it's great to have you here. And we'll kind of get started. So let's go to the first slide. So what is different about a virtual career fair? So instead of walking into the Ag Science building and having a bunch of booths up with recruiters ready to talk to you, you do have the opportunity to still meet with recruiters in group sessions and in one-on-one sessions, but it will be all on handshake. So you have to take a little bit more time to think about it. Instead of just coming and waiting in line, you do have to pre-register for the fair, and you get to choose between group sessions and one-on-one sessions. In group sessions, you get to ask questions, hear a lot about these companies in 30 minutes, and the one-on-one sessions, you get 10 minutes to talk to a recruiter one-on-one through handshake in a virtual platform. And you just want to kind of make sure that you're prepared. So that's what we're going to talk a lot about today. And Megan, I'm curious, when you get your schedule of students you're going to be meeting with, do you look at their handshake profile?
Yes, absolutely, Jessie. So that's a great way for us as employers to really learn about the students that we're talking with before their career fair and get to know your background a little bit, just so that I know as an employer what questions to ask you and make sure I get you to the right place of where you might be interested in for a career.
So it kind of sounds like a two-way street. You're there to hire students and they're there to get jobs. So it sounds like you're both wanting to be prepared before you meet with each other. So that's really good insight. So how do students get ready? By completing their handshake profile. So first, you do absolutely want to log on to Handshake, register for the event. We'll go over that a little bit. But you want to make sure that you upload your resume, the best looking resume you have that you definitely want to share with employers. You want to have your graduation date. You can actually upload a lot of the same information from your resume onto your Handshake profile. And it's really important to have all that complete and updated. And did you have anything else that they should add or maybe not have on their Handshake profile, Megan?
Yeah, I think it's really helpful if they have a little summary or an objective of what they're looking for so that we know what they are looking to gain out of the experience. And really along with that, graduation date and school year is really important so we know they might be looking for an internship with us or a full-time permanent career, maybe long-term.
Awesome. That is really helpful. So how do you find the career fairs and other virtual events on Handshake? So even when you log on, you will be able to choose industries you're interested in when you set up your profile. And therefore, those events based on those industries, especially in ag and natural sciences, they'll have event recommendations right on your homepage. But if not, you can go into the events page, look at those things that are coming up, filter by career fairs or events. You can see the Ag and Natural Science Career Fair is actually going to be February 23rd this year. You can click register and then start signing up for events right here and there. In fact, you could be doing it while you're in this virtual session. One thing you do want to think about is following the employers you're interested in so that you can see when they do post positions or if they're coming to the career fair, and also go to their employer pages and do a lot of research. And Megan, I'm interested, what kind of research is really important for them to do before the career fair, you know, the research that you want them to do about the employer or even about BrightView?
Yeah, absolutely. I think really just knowing what we do and where we're present in the community, knowing the mission and vision of the company, doing some research of the career opportunities that we have open, if that's the internship or some of the permanent positions, and just taking a peek at our career website and knowing some local events that we're doing in the area will really make you shine and stand out to an employer that you are really interested in working for them.
It probably would be easier to talk to a student that knows all of this so you don't have to actually tell them everything. You're having more impactful conversations because they already know. So that's really good advice as well. So here are a couple tips we're going to kind of go through, and I'm going to let Megan take over a little more from here on out because I want to hear more of what she has to say as well. But preparing for the virtual fair, there are a lot of different things you can do. Definitely looking from here until the career fair to see employers that are signing up for those info sessions and signing up for the one-on-one sessions, and researching, as we've already talked about. What are some other things that they should really start thinking about, Megan?
Yeah, thinking about, maybe what they are looking to get out of the event. Maybe they are a freshman or a sophomore and just looking to get a connection, or if that's an internship or permanent position, if they're, looking to graduate soon. So I think really just knowing what their goal is before signing up for the event and doing a little bit of research.
That's awesome. I know we have a lot of students that will be looking at this as more of for internships and jobs, but we also have those students that are thinking of this as a networking event. What kind of advice do you have for students that are really just trying to make a connection with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is a great way to make yourself stand out. And after speaking with an employer, connect with them on social media, on LinkedIn, send them an email, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But just making yourself present in the events, and if that's in a group session or one-on-one, and just a great way to ask questions as well.
Perfect, and I apologize for my interruption noise in the background. Let's see here. So we're going to talk a little bit about the elevator pitch. And this is really how students are going to be introducing themselves when you first get into your one-on-one session. So you definitely want to start with an introduction, letting the employer know your name, what you're currently doing, your major, are you in an internship, are you about to graduate? Anything that's of interest for that particular employer that you've done in the past. And this is why the research is so important, because you can cater that to each employer based on what you've learned. Your professional and your personal goals and any questions you have. And I know there's a lot to unpack here, but Megan, first, what are some great questions that you definitely want to hear students kind of ask you whenever they're in the one-on-one sessions?
Yeah, definitely. I want to hear from them, what are some growth opportunities with our company? What does our culture look like? Maybe what are some of our long-term goals as a company? And what are our expectations as an employer for the students, so that they know what we expect of them and what they should reach for when they come on board for an internship or a job with us.
That is awesome. And I just wanted to ask, what are some things you should definitely not do in an elevator pitch?
Yeah, make sure that you have practiced and are prepared. It even gets awkward for an employer if they don't have an elevator pitch prepared, and we are trying to pull out those questions of what are you currently doing? Maybe resume is not updated. So making sure that you have just a few minutes of your background and what you're doing, what you're looking for, and when you're graduating too, so we can get a good idea of where to place you within the company.
Perfect. And again, the elevator pitch is that first, tell me a little bit about yourself. So if you were meeting with Megan on a one-on-one session, that's probably how she would start. And then the elevator pitch is how you introduce yourself. And is there anything else you wanted to add on that?
No, I don't think so. I would just, I guess I would say, an elevator pitch, it doesn't have to be 5-10 minutes long. It can really just be a few minutes. And that introduction just really makes yourself stand out. And to the employer, it lets them know that you've done your homework. So it's really great.
Doing your homework is important all the time. So on the day of the virtual career fair, because again, you're going to be at home or somewhere where you're going to have a good internet connection. Here are some things that you still want to keep in mind. It's still a professional event. It's still a networking event. So you want to dress professionally. And now that we do have the ability to kind of see into your homes and where you are, you want to have a neutral background. And what are some tips that you would give on both of those things?
Yeah, definitely. I would say, our world has changed so much with just being at home, but still keeping in mind that we're meeting, you guys are meeting with employers, and just keeping it really professional, and definitely understandable if there's something going on or something happens in the background. Maybe your dog starts barking or there's noises, which is totally fine. But, just maybe apologizing and letting them know, hey, sorry about that, but keeping it professional, dressing for the events, and as Jesse mentioned too, neutral background, and hopefully, you're not at a playground in the back or out for a walk or anything, just being prepared.
Perfect. Have you ever had a student that was dressed very unprofessionally for one of these one-on-ones, or have you had good experiences?
Yes, I've had both. So there's kind of a mix. I think I've had a scenario where there was 2 screaming kids in the background and somebody was in their pajamas. So, that's perfectly fine to say, hey, like, I can't make it, or reschedule, or maybe connect with an employer a different way if it falls on a bad day for you. But just making sure that you are keeping it in a quiet, professional place.
Yeah, and definitely showing up as the best version of yourself in professional wear, I think is also, I'm glad that you brought that up as well. So during your sessions, I know we both talked about this a lot before we did this presentation, but you want to show up on time, or show up at all if you did sign up. You want to maintain eye contact with the camera. You're not looking off into the distance. That can also be distracting, and it doesn't help with we're not able to meet with each other in person, so it makes it even more difficult to connect. So looking and practicing active listening as well is important. And then again, ask questions, and we've talked about that a little, but tell us a little bit more about, any of these pointers.
Yeah, I would say it's so important to arrive on time for the time slot. I know that especially if you're doing the one-on-one time slot, 10 minutes is such a short time. So even 5 minutes late can really eliminate some valuable time with the employer. So making sure that you're showing up on time, and maybe something came up that day, an emergency. And if you're able to, I guess, Jesse, this might be a question for you. Are students able to delete their time slot on Handshake if they're on?
The only stipulation, so you can join in on your 10-minute sessions 5 minutes before, so you're ready. And you can cancel sometimes the day above or the day before, but not too close to. So if it's an immediate emergency, it may just be one of those lost connections, but you can throughout the next couple of weeks change time slots as well.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say, do you have anything else to add? Because I know you've had lots of students who just didn't show up at all.
Yes. Yes, I've definitely had those situations where students won't show up and more than once. So just making sure that when you are signing up, it is something that will be very resourceful for you and for the employer as well.
There are missed opportunities. Anytime you can meet with anyone, it's an opportunity to network. And especially with an employer that you would potentially be interested in working for. So definitely show up.
Definitely.
So after the career fair, so some students do not think about, oh, I went to the career fair or I signed up for these virtual sessions and I went and then they just kind of leave it at that. Is that a detriment to them to just kind of do nothing?
Yes, definitely. So always making sure to, follow up with the employer that you're speaking with, send a thank you message. I know that for me personally, I even keep a folder in my outbox and just put any students who contact me or put a thank you message in there just to go back and see, oh, when is this person graduating? What internship or job are they interested in? So you really are standing out and make that LinkedIn connection. And maybe there's not a position open right now, but down the road, there could be another networking opportunity with you and the employer.
That's awesome. Now let me think. So here are a list of the career fairs we have coming up. This is the first time we're having a spring Ag and Natural Science career fair, and it is February 23rd. You are free to go to any of the career fairs, and I encourage you to look at the employers that are going to be at each, because just kind of like BrightView, they're not just looking for ag positions, they're also looking for sales positions, and a lot of different majors can actually fall within those. So it's even more important to take those opportunities to meet with the employers and ask your questions and make those impressions. Anything else to add? I think we're on the question slide now. Was there anything else that we missed that you really wanted to cover, Megan?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think that, overall, just making sure that individuals and students are showing up on time for the event. And I love your point, Jesse, when you're saying, even if you're not interested in some agriculture, there's so many different opportunities just within BrightView because we are a large company. So maybe an event or a school might not have a certain position, but just to make that connection and networking is such a great opportunity.
I thank you so much. Now, I do want to open up the floor to see if there are any other questions from the students or any of the other career services staff that's here today. And you guys can put it in the chat or, oh, I have a question. Thank you, Jess. I've never been to a group session. Are those usually just informal? If not, what would be a good way to stand out? So Megan, have you ever conducted a group session? And if you have, what is your experience? And if you haven't, what do you think of that? How do you think students can stand out?
Yeah, definitely. So I actually have not done a group session yet. I've only done the one-on-ones. However, I think to Jessica, your question is a good way to stand out is asking questions, the student asking questions, and then sending a thank you to the recruiter or to the employer if they do have their contact information. I think that would be something that would definitely stand out amongst the group. Oh, Jesse, did we lose you? Oh, I think we lost Jesse. Okay, I can take over. Does anybody else have any questions? And feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and you guys can ask questions. Yeah, so Brittany, which career fair am I attending for students who want to connect with BrightView? Yes, so I will be at the agriculture career fair on the 23rd for students to connect. I will be doing one-on-one sessions, and then a few of my colleagues will be with me as well. So I think we have 4 other BrightView. We have hiring managers, we have a VP, general manager of a region, and then we have another recruiter, Ted, who will be at the career fair. So I'd love to connect with you guys and see you at the career fair and learn more information about you. Awesome. Thanks, guys. Any other questions that you have for me? No?
Megan, Jessie reached out and just wanted me to thank you again for joining us today. She said she tried to get back on, it's not working, but she said thank you so much for facilitating this, and she can't wait to send you the recording.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Brittany. Thank you, everybody and students, Brittany and Jessica. If you guys need anything else, don't hesitate to reach out, but hopefully I will see you all at the career fair later this month.
Thank you so much, Megan.
Bye, guys.